South Africa is in the building. Nasty C, thank you for being on the show.
Pleasure being here.
Look, we were able to meet yesterday over at the High 97 and Def Jam Who's Next party situation.
Right.
And let me tell you something. The project that you have coming out, Ivy Sun Army, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very pleasantly surprised at the sound.
Thank you.
Because it's everything that I wasn't expecting.
Right.
But before we get into the music, of course, I need to know about you, your background. How did you get into this?
So I started rapping when I was like 9 years old.
Okay.
Heavily influenced by T.I., especially at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your first T.I. Memory?
Talk Back remix, the one with Jeezy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's really the reason why I started paying attention to music, period. And then I started rapping, started making beats. And then it just kind of grew from then.
Just like that, where'd you get the equipment? I need you to walk me through it. Come on.
We had a computer at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my oldest brother, his name is Sia. He used to want to be a DJ, I think, at the time.
Right.
But he also had FL Studio, which is like a beat making software.
Okay.
So then I started fiddling around with that. I used to just sit there and just watch him play around with sounds and stuff like that. And
So he's into it as well.
Yeah. Not so much anymore, but yeah. He pretty much put me onto it. Yeah, so I started playing around with that. I had like these Nokia headphones, like I used to just use as a microphone.
Really?
And just record like ideas and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when did you realize that it was a talent of yours that you could take seriously?
I think around age 16, 17, around there.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started to write about my personal experiences and stuff that I was going through, so that and then people started to relate, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Right.
And then the song started to travel a bit more. People started to find out about me and come
Wait,
back
you
to
gotta
and
take
stuff
me
like
back
that.
a little bit.
Yeah.
How did that happen though? Did you upload onto like SoundCloud? Were you out there promoting like, hey, this is something that I do?
There was this thing called Data File Host. It was
Okay.
this website. You could just upload straight from your phone. Like, you could just upload a song or whatever. So I used to just do that, share the link. I used to send it to random people on BBM. It was the BBM days. Remember BBM?
Yes,
Blackberry
I
Messenger?
do. I have my
used to just-
BlackBerry.
I used to just spam people with the links, spam them with the music. Even in taxis. Back home, we take like big taxis, like 25 passengers, and something like that. And we used to just like spam people's Bluetooth with like songs. Or
Yeah.
whatever. And some people would just accept it and just listen to it. And then
Really?
yeah, eventually that, start looking for you and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's pretty much how it started. And then obviously just going to like ciphers and open mic sessions and just spreading my name out.
Yeah. Now, who was the first person who gave you that affirmation that kind of made you know, like, oh, I sound good? Was it somebody who was like, yo, this is fire? Who kind of confirmed that for you?
It was actually a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. Guy was like my best friend for the longest of time.
He's still around?
Kinda.
Okay. It's all right. Love from a distance.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
When I was like, I think when I was like 13, 12, 13 or something like that, he's one of the people I think who either got my song through like the spam messages that I sent out or something like that. But he came to me, he found his way to my house, actually.
Okay.
He came to me, told me he was a huge fan. And that was the first time I heard someone say that they're a fan. But not
Yeah.
only that, he rapped my songs back to me. So that was like my first time hearing someone
That's
rap.
a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. So then, we just kind of became tight from there onwards. And he was kind of like my advocate.
Yeah.
So he went around just like telling everyone about my music.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing in it, because you always want the people on your team to like really believe in the magic that you're producing, right? Yes. So to have somebody, off rip just be a fan of the music first is really cool to have.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me what the hip hop scene is like in South Africa?
South Africa, it's pretty good, man. It has its moments where it kind of dips. Just because South Africa is just known for giving birth to so many different genres. So there's always like the spotlight always changes and shifts and moves.
So right now, a lot of people are talking about a Amapiano.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. And a friend of mine, YP, Young Prince, he's like the African king out here. Yeah. He was saying that there's so many other genres. Instead of Amapiano, there's, I don't want to say it wrong, Kwaito.
Yeah, Kwaito.
Kwaito. Marabi. Damn it.
I'm not sure of that one.
Okay,
There's so many.
I'm going to go back and look. But Kwaito.
There's a lot of them, man. There's too many different flavors down there.
Okay. Now, are you incorporating any of those flavors into the project and the music that we're going to get from you, or is it solely hip-hop?
Not in the project that's coming out this Friday, but I usually play around with different sounds. Like, I'll take, like, some of the elements, like, from the drum pattern and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What does your family have to say about you being in hip hop and not kind of following the standard of South African cultural music?
They don't say anything. They don't
Right.
really. They're not too involved in the music that I make or how it sounds. My brother is right now because he's my manager now.
Oh, wow. Is this the
Yeah.
brother you were talking about?
No. He's so the guy that's the other brother. Our
Okay.
oldest brother. Yeah. But they're supportive, man. Whatever I put out there, they just support it.
Yeah, they're into it all.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the project.
Mm-hmm.
Great project.
Thank you.
From the beginning, the name, the title.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was looking into it because, I got to see where it's coming from, and I believe it's from your late mother, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about that.
Yeah, so my mother's name is Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away when I was very young. Like I literally don't have a single memory of her.
Really?
Yeah, but I feel like she's my guardian angel. I feel like she's responsible for a lot of the success that I'm seeing today.
Right.
So I dedicate a lot of everything I do to her, pretty much. Like my company's called Ivy Sun. That's in her name also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started this tour in 2016 or 17, I think. It's called the Ivy Sun Tour. And post-COVID, so it was great. Obviously, a success in SA and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2020 came, COVID came, everything kind of, like live shows just kind of dipped and fizzled out and stuff, right?
What was that like for you? Were you a little
it's
nervous?
terrible
as
for
to,
every artist.
Like where things were going to go?
Yeah.
You scared, huh? A lot of us were.
Yeah, but it kind of, we always found like different ways to communicate with the fans and give the music out and still do performances, like live performance. I did like a desktop performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then we wanted to bring it back, so we did like a smaller version of it. We called it the Ivy Sun Army Tour.
Right.
Which is when we brought Damani over to SA also.
Yeah.
Just to kind of introduce him to the crowd out there. And then the whole point of us making this mixtape is kind of just to say thank you to everyone who, was a part of the army that stood for hip hop in SA and came out to the show and stuff like that. So that's why we did the tape.
Yeah. Now, what was the process in recording for you? Because you got some fire on there. Did it take you like, a certain amount of time? Were you working on different pieces at different points in your life and kind of all put it together? Because it's very sequenced in a way where it sounds whole, if that makes sense to you. Yeah.
It was just a bunch of songs that were laying around that I had, really. That
it doesn't sound like that at all.
Thank you, though. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, but it was a lot of open verses that I just had, and I just kind of threw them around to different artists. I was like, yo, you would sound dope on this. You would sound dope on that. Mm-hmm. And then we just kind of put it together.
Yeah. Now, talk to me about the features. Because as I listened, Loco is one of my favorites, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, Loco is my jam. But talk to me about all the features. I was trying to figure out who is who.
Yeah.
As I was listening through the project, and I couldn't figure it out because they are all from South Africa because you're putting them on.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So Loco has Casper, who's been up here a couple times, actually.
Okay.
Casper in Your Vest, one of our biggest hip-hop artists in SA. And then the other song called What I Like has Nadia Nakai, who used to be his artist. I'm not sure if she still is at the moment. But she's with that camp also. And Teleman, who's my brother. Let's Go featuring Damani. Extravagant featuring my brother Case Close, an up-and-coming artist from Durban, very talented.
Okay.
Yeah. Import is featuring Crown Young.
I like him for a lot too.
Yeah, friend of mine also, very close friend of mine. Yeah.
So are you leading this movement in South Africa? Is everyone kind of looking up to you in what you're doing with the music and kind of like, yo, I got to get on his project because he's putting people on?
I don't want to sound like, I own the thing and whatever, but yeah, pretty much because I get to travel the world a lot more than everyone else, or I've been traveling a lot more than everyone else, so I kind of get to take this music outside of SA. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so kind of.
Now, the last joint on the project, it's giving more melodic than anything.
Which one's that one?
Is it Stalling?
Stalling, okay.
Stalling, yes. If we're going by the order that I got, Stalling is the last one.
Right, yeah.
Yes, and it's more melodic for sure. Talk to me about that aspect of the music that you put out. To me, listening through it, I'm like, okay, we getting a hip-hop vibe, and then I hear this, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
there's variety.
I'm inspired by a lot of different artists, man. Like, even since I was a kid. So even though I listen to a lot of like Lil Wayne and T.I., I also listen to a lot of like Chris Brown, T-Pain, and
Chris Brown's first album, is that your favorite?
When he was young. Give Me That Days. Yeah, then. Yeah. And just the music that was just playing in the house. My father used to play like a lot of Mary J. Blige, Tamia, Luther Vandross, you know.
The classics.
Yeah, man. So we used to be like in a church choir. So like melodies and music and stuff like that has just always been a part of my life.
Right.
It's just a part of my DNA. Yeah. So I do both.
Okay. Now, how excited are you to put this out and, go on tour and perform for the
I'm
people?
very excited. Super excited. Ecstatic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then what else do you have going on that you can plug? I know I seen some clothes. I seen a jacket on the Instagram that I'm really jacking right now.
I'll make sure to get you.
The merch. What else we got?
We have the Ivy Sun merch coming out very soon. We have pretty dope like jewelry pieces. We have caps, jackets, all that kind of stuff. I'm going back on tour, actually, the Ivy Sun tour, the big version of it.
Yeah.
First show starting on the 22nd of October back at home, and hopefully we'll spread out until eventually it gets up here, which will be pretty dope.
Absolutely. And we didn't talk about your acting. You were in Blood and Water?
Yeah, I was.
See,
I had like
why you ain't tell me
a
that?
12-second scene.
It doesn't matter. Blood and Water is popping on Netflix.
Yeah, no, shout out to them for having me on there. That was a crazy experience.
Yeah, and they're incorporating a lot of African culture with their, content.
Definitely.
As of late, too. Is acting something that you want to continue doing?
I thought I did. Not anymore.
Oh, why?
Nah, it didn't feel like, the thing that I want to do anymore. I don't, it's not really where my heart is at.
Okay, well, maybe later in the future, you never know. Things
I did
might change.
I did like a voice acting thing for this show. I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say about this, but there's a show coming out on Disney Plus.
Ooh.
Yeah, where I do voice for one of the main characters there.
Okay.
Which is pretty dope.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I like that. That I prefer because I'm kind of used to being, in the booth behind the mic.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, before we end, I know one of your mantras is, I don't chase dreams.
I design.
You design them.
Yep.
Tell me about when you kind of came to that realization and why. Because I feel like, in the beginning, a lot of us are chasing dreams,
Right.
even up until now. But you design yours. What brought you to that point?
I think it's because I realized that the way I kind of mapped out my goals and stuff like that was very unconventional, especially for someone coming from SA and in the township and in the city that I come from. It was like I stood out. Like
in what way?
Everyone else listened to Goem house music, Kwaito and stuff like that. I'm the only kid out here with a snapback and like oversized clothes because it was an oversized era back then and stuff like that.
Doing it the hip hop way.
Yeah, and also even the other guys who were rapping, they were rapping mainly in like Zulu and Vernac, and I was rapping in English. So it was like it was very different. Every time I said out loud what I wanted to do, people always kind of looked at me crazy.
Right.
And it always just kind of felt like, all right, I'm kind of setting my own goals here and like I'm designing them pretty much because I'm doing everything way different like from everyone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And we're happy to see your growth in designing these dreams. Please keep designing them for us because we love the music, of course. And then when you're on tour, we're going to be front and center.
Thank you. I hope to see you there.